The pandemic is definitely causing us to take a step back and look at the way that we were doing relationships before it all. We definitely had a way of connecting with people, whether that be getting together after work, traveling to see people, getting together on the weekends. And with safety precautions and closings and things that have been canceled, it's definitely challenged us to get really creative in how we are making sure that we're staying connected with other people and the people that we care about and love most during this time. It's always important to make sure to communicate your wants and needs in relationships. We can oftentimes make assumptions about what other people need or what other people have expectations for us. And so if we're able to share that with, whether that be a loved one, a spouse, a family member, even your children, it can definitely make sure that we have realistic expectations in these relationships, and also setting boundaries around what is necessary to make sure that we're spending the best time and the most meaningful time with people. Healthy relationships definitely look like communication, trust, consistency, respect, loyalty, and dependability. And once again, it's always really helpful to have communication and consistent communication so that expectations are being set, and boundaries and rules are also being set in these relationships. And making sure that you all are consistently on the same page with each other about what's working in the relationship and also what's not, but then also how can we get on the same page to where things are better and continuing to be healthy. Definitely. So it's kind of funny to think that a lot of people were really excited about the fact that, oh, we get to spend all this extra time together, but maybe it might seem like it's been a lot more extended time than maybe at once expected. And so I would really encourage couples during this time to make sure that they are still spending meaningful time with each other. Whether that is, still going on dates, but maybe it being in a different way. And so if you're not comfortable going to a restaurant, maybe you're comfortable with getting takeout and going to a park. Or maybe you stay in and have a movie night, but still making sure that you're not just letting the things that were really important in the relationship go to the wayside just because they have to look different during this time. As well as making sure that you are communicating the time that you might need away from your partner as well. It is always helpful and healthy in relationships to have identities outside of just that couple. And so whether you're getting together with friends and family in a different way, or even if you're just spending some time alone, just making sure that you're communicating what you need and also respecting your partner and knowing that that is definitely a key part of healthy relationships. Oh my, parents, definitely during this time, I would recommend making sure that your children are still having some sense of routine and structure throughout the day, especially with remote learning that's going on, and also giving yourself some compassion during this time of that. There's a lot that you're juggling. You're juggling being a parent and now being like a part-time educator, support as well. And so making sure that if you try something and it doesn't seem like it's working out well, don't feel like you're like you kind of have to give up hope. Just making sure that you're just finding ways that work well for you and your family during this time, creating that structure and that routine so that your child can get used to that, but making sure that you also have time to set aside for them to still have fun and family time as well. It could be helpful to even maybe have separate spaces where your child does school versus, once that laptop is closed, okay, now we're back at home, just so that there is a transition during the day. And then for parents, making sure that you are also engaging in self-care because you're wearing a lot of hats. And so you also want to make sure at some point you take those hats off so that you can recover and take care of yourself, so that you're willing to and able to go back and be supportive for your child in a healthy way instead of getting burdened and worn out. I would encourage anyone who is living alone to constantly be checking in with their feelings, emotions about how they're feeling. Some people do really good with just being alone and they really enjoy that, while others, it might be very stir crazy and a very lonely and isolating place to be. And wherever you are, it's still important to have connections with other people. It is not healthy just to isolate and say, I'm okay, I'm good, I just like being at home, I just like being in my space. But making sure that you're finding time to do that in a healthy way, whether you're doing that through a virtual game night or cooking night, or maybe meeting someone in a safe space where you feel comfortable. Just making sure that you're not finding yourself being alone. And also during this time, it might be helpful to explore some of the things that you enjoy as well, whether that be a hobby or an activity that you could do that you maybe didn't have time to do before the pandemic. And so just really being able to get creative with your time and making sure that you're doing the best for yourself to take care of yourself in the best way possible. Seeking support from a mental health professional can always be really helpful, especially whenever you start to maybe feel feelings and emotions that seem to be extended for a very long time. Maybe things that used to be very helpful, whether that be talking with a friend or going for a run or watching a movie, doesn't help anymore. Also, maybe when you start to feel like you're internalizing a lot of your feelings instead of expressing them in a healthy way, that can definitely be really good signs of when you could seek mental health support. And therapy is a great way to be able to have that safe space for you to communicate your thoughts and feelings with no judgment, and being able to get that support on how you could help cope with those feelings and emotions in a healthy way, as well as reaching out to other people for supports during that time.